what are some sticking points that you feel like what's going well with your business right now? What do you feel like is not going so well?
Yeah, so I think it's not just isolated to the roofing industry. I would say finding people, right, to work for you, right? Finding people that, I don't know, I'm trying to say this without coming across, a certain type of way, but
With the
it
right
is what it is.
attitude?
Yeah, it is what it is. Like people nowadays, I feel like if they're not motivated, they don't have any ambition, like they're okay with just like getting by or being mediocre, or even the ones that do work, like it's hard to find someone that takes pride in what they're doing and thinks of it as a reflection of themselves, right? And so I don't know if it's just like this newer generation has low self-esteem, or they don't have like values or goals, or I don't know what it is, but that's kind of what I'm coming running into. And but at the end of the day, you have to overcome and adapt, right?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Builder's Bible. I'm joined by Brad Strawbridge, who is the owner and founder of Capital City Roofing. He is in the Atlanta metro area. I haven't had too many roofers on the show, so I'm actually excited to kind of pick his brain. He does more than just roofing. He's got quite a few things going on. Brad, tell us a little bit about your business. How'd you get started?
Yeah, so I've been in the home services industry for a long time. I was with Lowe's for over a decade. Started out there as a delivery driver, actually, believe it or not, and then several promotions later, ended up running the home services division for a district in Atlanta, and kind of fell in love with like the construction aspect of things, and just home services in general over the traditional retail business model, obviously that was used to with Lowe's. And so I gained a lot of experience there, because you got to think kind of that role is you essentially kind of represent Lowe's as the GC in the product categories that they install, which is almost anything they sell, they pretty much offer installation services for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so during that process, I realized that there were two verticals that interested me quite a bit, and one being HVAC and then the other being roofing. And the reason why was through COVID, we kind of determined, hey, these obviously are non-discretionary product groups, and essentially they were recession proof. And I picked roofing because it was a little more exciting to me, to be honest with you. And I pivoted for a brief period of time and went to work at a commercial roofing company in the Atlanta metro area, and helped them scale, and kind of got sucked into roofing. And it's funny. I remember the owner of that company said, he said, "Well, you're in roofing now. You're never getting out." He's like, "We got you," and he was right, And kind of through that process, ended up realizing, hey, I've been doing this for other people my whole career, and I only have one speed, one style of work ethic, and it's wide open. It's what I do. I work, and my hobby is my work, and I enjoy it. And people are like, "Oh, be careful, you're gonna get burned out." I'm not gonna get burned out because it's what I prefer to do. You know what I mean? And so I said I should start my own. Because I can apply that same type of work ethic and get even more satisfaction out of it, because I'm building something for me, and my wife is my business partner. So her and I, we're two peas in a pod, and we're having a great time doing it. It's been about a year and a half. We've had quite a bit of success fairly quickly, and we grew out of the first office that we were in, and just got a new office in Alpharetta, Georgia, and grew the team, and brought a bunch of very talented individuals on, and have a lot of excited things pointed at a lot of exciting growth in the next, you know 1, 3, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just just excited, man.
Hmm. I love that. Can you, for the sake of the audience, just so you've been at it a year and a half, give us a sense of the size of the company, whether it's deal flow or top line sales or anything like that?
Yeah, man. So we're right now we are very, very residential heavy. Now the vision is to kind of, because obviously there's levels to this, right? And if you have aspirations of getting into commercial, there's steps, right? So you kind of start off residential, then you go multifamily, then you go low slope, right? And so from a residential perspective, we're putting on at least a roof a day.
Hmm.
So we have a really, really good pipeline. I think, people sometimes are taboo about talking about top line sales and things like that. Kind of all categories combined with, roofing. You mentioned earlier, I do other things: roofing, siding, gutters, basement remodels, kitchen remodels. Um, I even put in, I do concrete, so driveways, whatever. Um, it's probably in 18 months, it's probably pushing right around probably around 8 million.
That's good,
Um,
dude. That's good.
yeah, it's pretty good, and we and that was without having the time to sit down and write out the core processes, write out the SOPs, and do those things. And so we've kind of have kind of slowed down to speed up. Like those are the things now that I can work on. You know what I mean? Like I'm not climbing roofs. I'm not selling. I'm not doing those things anymore. I'm able to actually sit down with my leadership team and say, hey, how do we do this? And
Hmm.
hear how we do it and actually put it down on paper. And then kind of work through those processes to see where we can get better, right?
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so you've obviously had a lot of success in a short period of time. What are some sticking points that you feel like what's going well with your business right now? What do you feel like is not going so well?
Yeah, so I think it's not just isolated to the roofing industry. I would say finding people, right, to work for you, right? Finding people that, I don't know, I'm trying to say this without coming across, a certain type of way, but
With the
it
right
is what it is.
attitude?
Yeah, it is what it is. Like people nowadays, I feel like they're not motivated. They don't have any ambition. Like they're okay with just like getting by or being mediocre, or even the ones that do work, like it's hard to find someone that takes pride in what they're doing and thinks of it as a reflection of themselves, right? And so I don't know if it's just like this newer generation has low self-esteem, or they don't have like values or goals, or I don't know what it is, but that's kind of what I'm coming running into. And but at the end of the day, you have to overcome and adapt, right? So
Yeah.
we've been really intentional of finding people that at least have some of those intangible things. Like, can they show up, right? Can they at least show up? And like, do they have integrity? Are they honest? And then if that's the case, right, then we kind of wrap our arms around them and say, hey, I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to, if you don't have motivation, I'm going to show you what that looks like and get you excited about it, and showing you that construction and the roofing industry specifically, like, it can change your life. You know what I mean? Like if you apply yourself, it can change your life. You can, there's plenty of millionaires that are in the roofing industry, right? But those
Mhm.
people are motivated, and those people are, they put in the work. At the end of the day, if you want something good, you have to put in the work. And it's kind of
Yeah.
showing that new generation and getting them fired up about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is out of curiosity, what is like unique about Capital City Roofing? So a lot of roofing companies out there. So is it your process? Is it your people? Like what's your kind of value prop if someone says, "Hey, why you guys?"
Yeah. So, and you can't really see it, but I've got these giant sticky notes on the wall of one of our training rooms, and we just brought in a consultant to do this with us. So I don't know. Have you ever heard of EOS?
Yeah.
Right. So the entrepreneurial operating system based on a book by Gino Wickman called Traction. Right.
Hmm.
Um, I've kind of been running on EOS for a very long time, and the things about that is, make the most important things the priority, right? And it starts with your core values, right? Like, as a company, what do you stand for, right?
Hmm.
And we've got it written down. I'm going to get that nicer, right? So that way, for a culture perspective, but like, integrity over everything, right? At the end of the day, we're going to make money, but we're not going to make money at the expense of somebody else, whether it's the
Yeah.
homeowner, whether it's our sales reps, right? You know, we're just, it's not worth it, right? And that's going to pay off dividends. Innovation. I'm a huge advocate for AI. I believe that it will never replace human customer service, but what it does is it makes things faster and easier. And if you use it correctly, it increases customer service, right? And so we use that in almost anything and everything we do. Um, Excellence, transparency, reliability. Some of those things sound cliche, but it's at our core. Like, at my core, that's what I stand for, right? And so as I'm casting this vision for Capital City Roofing, it's my expectation, it's what I'm holding people accountable for. And then when we cast the rest of the mission, people understand why. So, like, you always do a 1, 3, 10 year, right, kind of outlook. And our 10-year outlook, like, we want to do $1 billion, and that's cool. That sounds great. But the thing that's the most exciting is, in 10 years, we're going to feed 1 million children, right? We're going to feed 1 million children that otherwise couldn't get fed because maybe over the summertime, they're the kids that are on the free lunch plan, and they don't even have access to food, right?
Mm.
We also want to end up becoming, I'm going to speak this into existence now, and maybe someone from the Braves will hear this, right? We want to become the official roofing company of the Atlanta Braves. I've always been a huge Braves fan. It's why I designed my logo in the colors that I did, right? But
I did something similar with my companies with the Broncos colors. So.
okay, what we want to do, and what we've already started pointing things at, is I want to partner with the local school systems, and then I want to partner with the Braves. And periodically, I want to buy all the seats in left field or right field or wherever, and take kids to the Braves game, and just have a bunch of kids that probably would never be able to go to a sporting event like that because maybe they don't have a
Hmm.
dad, or maybe they, whatever their situation is,
Hmm.
um, and expose them to that, right? And so, like,
Yeah.
the philanthropic part of being a business owner is way more appealing to me than making money. You know what I mean? Like, in the 18 months that we've been in business so far, my wife and I, we haven't even paid ourselves yet. You know what I mean? Like, I could care less about the money. And I know the money's going to come, but the money, and that's what I tell the people. I said, hey, like, when I hold you accountable for your sales quota, it's not because I'm trying to make money. It's because, how are we going to feed a million kids if we're not generating the revenue that we need to in order to do those things? So I
Hmm.
think that's what makes Capital City Roofing different. Is we have a mission that is way, way bigger than putting shingles on a roof.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, you mentioned AI, and I'm glad you did. I see. So I own an AI agency, and so we do AI automations for companies. But I'm starting to see businesses popping up left and right, targeting specifically the roofing industry. So I'm curious to hear what ways you're using AI and what ways maybe you feel like you should be, but you're not.
Yeah, so I've got AI integrated into the majority of our workflows. I have an agency account with Go High Level that I've white labeled for my company, and it's part of our tech stack. We use Go High Level, and we use Roofer. or roofar, depending on how you
Mm-hmm.
pronounce it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big advocate for roofar as well. Um, but inside of Go High Level, we have chosen not to use the native AI inside GHL. We have our own that we have used, and our agent's name is Megan. She's amazing. She's probably the best employee that I have. She know at this point she knows more about roofing than I do. She knows more about my company than I do. She know because she doesn't forget anything. You know what I mean? And she's continuously learning. There's a data feedback loop that we have designed that through every interaction, every customer, detail, all the things she learns and she remembers. And so when a customer calls back and she picks up and she can remember that she had this conversation with that same customer 6 months ago, she's going to pick right back up where she left off. And those
Yeah.
things are those things are valuable, right? And then just the automation side of things, like to be able to put a customer on a nurturing sequence, after we present a proposal. And human nature of sales reps are either they're going to legit forget to follow up with that customer, or they're going to get so busy, so overwhelmed that they're just like, they didn't seem interested anyway, right?
Mm.
Well, AI comes in and sets it on an automation sequence. And if that customer responds, well, then our AI agent engages with that customer, and the rep doesn't have to worry about it. They'll engage and either reactivate that customer, put them back on the schedule, or just keep nurturing them long term, right? And so I think if people, especially in home services, especially in roofing, if they're not using it, um, they're missing out. It makes things easier, um, and it absolutely increases the customer experience,
Yeah.
100%.
Are you using it at all with estimation for estimating the scope of work, the amount of shingles you have to put on?
So not necessarily. So I have templates built out that I have based on the macros associated with the measurements from the satellite imaging measurements that we pulled through RoofR, right? And then it makes that proposal because I've got it based on my unit price, how many square feet does each bundle of shingles, what waste factor do I want to run, et cetera. And so that's automated that way. It's not necessarily AI, but I'll tell you on some of the other things we use AI for. I've also built my own GPT. I have a Capital City Roofing GPT, and so I'll quite simply just upload some photos of an inspection and say, hey, write me a scope and an estimate based on average market pricing for, you know, James Hardy, 8 1/4 lap siding, whatever the case may be, right? And it does a pretty good job, and it's not perfect by any means. You definitely have to like check it, right? But that's with anything. Just think about a
Yep.
normal employee. You have a normal employee and you delegate a task to them, like you should check it, you know. So same thing, but it does it well. It does it fast, and it works good.
I love that. So, let's see. What's one thing, Brad, we haven't talked about today? So it could be a business principle. Like maybe a good question would be, what's one if you had to summarize everything you've learned about running a roofing company or business in general, and you had to like write a thesis, what would that one impartation be?
So if I think it's about honesty, and I think it's about fear. And that sounds strange, right? Two different kind of sentiments, but I think as an entrepreneur, before you get into it, you have to be honest with yourself,
Mm,
right? Because not everybody is built for it. You know, if you're going to do it right, and then once you get into it, just understand that there's going to be a lot of fear that you're going to feel, in being an entrepreneur, right? You're going to feel,
Mhm.
I tell people all the time, you feel every emotion every single day, from the highs to the lows. But fear will always be a part of that, right? Fear of
Mhm.
failure, fear of running out of money, fear of not making money, fear of damaging your reputation, fear of hurting somebody's feelings, whatever it is, you have to understand that that fear, you can't let it control you. You can't let it paralyze you. You can't let it second guess yourself. You have to have the opposite of that, which is faith. And I'm a my faith is really big to me. I'm not one of those guys that ever tries to shove it down somebody's throat, but like I understand at the end of the day, like I am after a bigger purpose, and I have faith and 100% confidence that I'm going to achieve those goals, right? And so if you don't have that mindset, you're not going to be able to be successful, because it's going to drain you. It's going to take everything out of you, right? But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you can be honest with yourself and say, either A, I don't have what it takes, I just want to keep working for somebody, or B, I've got what it takes, I'm going to do it. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to work hard. I understand that fear is going to come, but I also understand that it's fleeting, because I have faith and I have confidence, and I'm going to do things the right way, and I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to learn from those mistakes, and I'm not going to quit, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to do it. Then you'll be successful. And it's as simple as that. It's hard to do. It's a simple concept. It's very difficult. But if you can keep that mindset, then you'll be okay.
Amen. Love that word. Brad, if people want to learn more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
Yeah, I mean, you can Google me. I mean, again, with the AI, I've been playing around with, like, if you go on Google AI mode. Last night I was like, "Who is Brad Strawbridge?" And it was pretty accurate. I was like, all right. I was like, it's a pretty accurate portrayal. But yeah, no, I mean, you can Google me, Brad Strawbridge. My company, capitalcityroofing.net. You can go to our website. And all of our information is there. We're very active on Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube. We even have a Pinterest. Where I've tried to be as omnipresent as I can. So it's not hard to find us if you look.
I love that you have a Pinterest. That's I like that. I like that. You didn't mention Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or LinkedIn. It was Pinterest. I like that. Yeah. Great, man. Well, thanks. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to keep talking, but thanks for coming on the show.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it.